That's a good question, blogger. I digress.
Can I just say actually about Quantum of Solace? I was just thinking about it the other day. I mean, for my money, controversially, it's probably one of my favourite costumed of certainly Craig's. The suits in that I find are nothing like the suits in the films that followed afterwards.
Right.
They seem to be a little longer in the jacket. I know Craig himself is a little lighter in that film. He's a little leaner. He's not quite so boxy, which I think actually suits him slightly more. And of course, those suits were. I mean, Tom Ford was only going like on his own. He'd only left Gucci for about 3 years, I think, before he started his own label. And it's my understanding that Louise Frogley, the costume designer for Quantum, really liked his suits on the catwalk and thought, yes, we're going to put them in the film. That'd be a really cool idea. Because it seems mad now, but of course, Tom Ford wasn't a huge name at the time. He was mainly just known for being a head of creative design at Gucci. And it kind of struck me that because his stuff was very 70s influenced at Gucci, and a lot of his stuff is now, he loves the 70s and will reference it a lot in interviews. But I think that what Frogley tried to do with those suits is keep some elements of the 70s, obviously tone down the lapels a bit, but they're nowhere near as narrow as they get later on with Bond, I don't find, with Craig. And like I said, the jacket's slightly longer line. But it seems like after that, like Janie sort of took the Tom Ford name, but not what I would generally consider the Tom Ford look. I don't think Tom Ford's suits look off the screen the same way as they do on Craig. And I'm not
That's
sure.
right.
Yeah, it just seems very. It's like, why have the suits if you're not going to sort of preserve the house look more? Bond's Tom Ford suit is very much Bond's Tom Ford suit, in my opinion. It's not actually totally representative of a Tom Ford suit. I don't know what you guys think about that. But...
Oh no, I completely agree with that. The Tom Ford look is that wide lapelled look. He had said once something along the lines of about how he didn't like the narrow lapels because they seem cheap. Like when you have wide lapels, it's just more cloth, more luxurious.
I remember him saying that he didn't like small lapels, thin lapels, because it didn't look like he had enough cloth to make the suit. Like the tailor had made an accident somewhere along the line or a mismeasurement. So that's why he'd always like to go, look, we had the fabric, don't worry about it.
Yes,
Which is obviously, like Matt was saying, the suits now are very narrow of lapel. Bond's, not as much as you would see on the sort of high street stores, but it's definitely more of a 60s look. And yet it's a Tom Ford suit, which is generally more of a 70s suit. I know Tom Ford name, obviously, it just needs to be attached to Bond at the moment, I'm sure, for various financial reasons. But it just seems odd to me sometimes that we want to get the Bond look, certainly with the suits, and yet that's not actually the Tom Ford look. It's the Bond Tom Ford look. It's a different thing.
Yeah, it's confused a lot of people. A lot of people seem to think that that look that we've seen Daniel Craig wearing over the past decade is a Tom Ford look. I think a lot of people don't like Tom Ford because they associate it with suits that are too small, which is certainly not the Tom Ford look. That's the Daniel Craig Bond look.
And I'm wondering if that's one of the reasons why I never hear Tom Ford do too much press or do too much singing and dancing about being the costumer of Bond, because it's not something, I don't know if it's something he's either proud of or wants to have affiliated and confuse the signature look of Tom Ford. So,
that's interesting. I mean, it makes you wonder, how much influence do we think he has? How much input, should I say, do we think he actually has with the suits? I mean, they're obviously made where he makes his suits, but like you said, I don't really think of him ever doing any press about these, which is odd.
Wow. Yeah, there was this. I think there was a video that Jenny had done where she talks about how she thought Tom Ford would, when she proposed her idea of this suit for Skyfall to Tom Ford, she thought he might just like kick her out of the room. But apparently he embraced what she wanted to do. I think he understood Now, he had done a similar look for his film A Single Man.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
which takes place in the '60s. So I think it started with that. So Tom Ford had done that look before James Bond was doing that with him.
Yeah, that's what's interesting because Ariane Phillips costumed that film, but he did make, A Single Man. But he obviously signed off. He was directing it. He signed off on the look, and his factory or whatever made the suits. But to me, yeah, that's way more of a classic '60s look than the sort of altered '60s look that Bond wears at the moment. I really love A
Definitely.
Single Man. The costuming is beautiful in that.
He does have family, but I don't know where they are. Oh man, I gotta run. My stomach.
All right, mate.
I could bring the screen into the toilet with me if you want to keep talking.
I think we'll put a pin in this one.